Welcome to the More Than Fitness podcast.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Minisode number 35 on the More Than Fitness podcast. And today's topic is going to be short and sweet. And also the topic is on how to have effective workouts when you're short on time. I know a lot of you guys listening to this are, hopefully in the future are going to be traveling more. You're going to be doing maybe hotel workouts, or even whenever you're doing home workouts right now. There's plenty of times that come up whenever we need to figure out, okay, we have 30 minutes to get in an effective workout. Maybe whenever you're on vacation or something like that, you don't want to spend your entire time at the gym. So how can you effectively get the biggest bang for your buck in the shortest amount of time period that aligns with your goals? Because I think what people typically think, well, at least if your goals are to gain muscle or to lose fat, I think a lot of people go into the workout thinking they need to keep the rest periods super short. They need to keep moving. They need to make it super intense. But as I've talked about before, working out actually isn't the best use of your time. Whenever you're trying to burn calories, it would be a much better use of your time to use the workouts to try and build and retain muscle mass as opposed to losing body fat. So I think the circuit training and things like that, I don't think it's terrible. I just think that around here, we're trying to figure out what is the most optimal. And the research has just been pretty clear that that is not the case to do circuit training, short rest periods, etc. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. So the first thing that I want to harp on is using compound exercises whenever you don't have much time to work out. I would say compound exercises and doing multiple body parts or multiple movements even. So I think your options here are going to be something like an upper day, a lower day, or a full body day, because it just doesn't make sense whenever you're short on time to go in, unless you're just trying to hit like arms or something before the beach, to be 100% honest, because I've done that before, right? If that's all you're trying to do, that's fine. Arms and shoulders, something like that, right? But if you're trying to keep a balanced physique and you're constantly traveling and things, and that's a big part of where your workout plan comes from, then we want to get a little bit smarter and do something like an upper lower split, do a full body split. And we want to make sure that the majority of those exercises are compound multi-joint exercises. It's the typical exercise that you think of. So bench, squat, deadlift, pull-ups, chin-ups, military press, rows, things like that, right? They use multiple joints, they use multiple body parts, and you're working multiple body parts at once instead of just doing like cable flies or something to hit your chest. You're doing bench press, which is more so your triceps, your shoulders, and your chest as well, right? So we want to make sure that we get the biggest bang for our buck by focusing mostly on compound exercises throughout this whole thing. So I would definitely, at least in the beginning of the workout, use compound exercises. And a way to use those compound exercises to be even more beneficial with the short amount of time that you have is to make them antagonistic pairing exercises, right? So this would be something like where you would pair like bench press with a dumbbell row, because then it's not doing bench press and then push-ups, because that would be hitting the same movement. And if you think about it, the push-ups that you do after the bench press are your chest is already going to be fatigued. So it'd be pointless to do the same muscle group back to back, because you're not getting the biggest bang for your buck. But if you're doing bench press and then you go into a back exercise, your chest is going to be resting while your back is getting the majority of the work, and vice versa, obviously. But the way to do this most effectively, because this is not a superset. And now whenever people think of a superset, you think of bis and tris or something like that. Like that is an antagonistic pairing exercise, right? Because you have the biceps and the triceps. But the difference between a superset and these antagonistic sets is supersets are done back to back with no rest in between. And what I would say with these exercises for the antagonistic pairing exercises, I would rest at least a minute or two between each one. So you would rotate. So for example, the bench press and a row, you would do your set of bench press, you would rest about 2 minutes, and then you would do your set of rows. Then you would rest about 2 minutes, then you do your set of bench press, and then et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this isn't back to back, because whenever you do it back to back, whatever you place second, at least if you're doing something like bench press and rowing, the rowings you're going to be too fatigued, right? So that every single time the rowing is going to, the performance is going to be decreased. When instead, if you just waited, 60 to 120 seconds, you're going to be ready to go to give that your full effort. And if you do this back to back to back, that way you can rest while doing the other exercise, and you'll get a bigger bang for your buck, and you'll get more work done in less time, as opposed to doing a set of chest, resting 2 minutes, doing another set of chest, resting 2 minutes, and you're going to get better performance than doing supersets where you do chest, then back to back, and then you rest, right? So give that a try. And then another intensity technique that you can try is myo reps. And whenever you're trying to get an effective workout short on time, it's important that, especially if you're not working out multiple times a week. So say you're at the beach or something, and you're only able to work out maybe 2 times that week. Well, since you're not fatiguing your body a ton in those 2 days that you're there at the gym, you can go to failure with basically every single exercise. And that will allow you to build more muscle mass, essentially, in the simplest terms. And this concept of myo reps, it's basically kind of like a rest pause, if you guys have ever heard of that. So an example would be, let's say you're doing push-ups, right? So you do push-ups, and you would go to about 2 reps shy of failure on your first set, right? So it's still a pretty tough set, don't get me wrong. But then after you get done with those first, let's say 15 reps is pretty tough for you. And then after you get done with those 15 reps, all you do is take a break for about 5 deep breaths. So just in and out about 5 times. And then you start busting out more reps until about 1 rep to failure. So it would be like 15 reps on your first set, then you take 5 deep breaths, and then you're able to knock out like 8 more, for example. Then you take another 5 deep breaths, then you can maybe get in 6 more reps, take 5 deep breaths, and do this all the way down until you get about 5 reps per set, and you're failing on that 5th rep. This is how you get a lot more density with your workouts, but then you're also taking the exercises to failure, and so you're getting in a lot of effective reps, a lot of muscle growing reps, basically, is the simplest way that I can put it. But you're making these reps much more valuable than you would if you were just resting, then doing another set, resting for 2 or 3 minutes, doing another set, etc. Again, we're trying to get the biggest bang for our buck in the shortest amount of time period. So myo reps are going to help with that. Okay, and lastly, I would include some type of finisher. This will typically be like some type of leg exercise. So this could be jumping rope. This could be kettlebell swings. This could be some type of circuit of like a full body movement, right? So you could do barbell rows and RDLs and shoulder press and push-ups or something like that, doing some type of circuit in a very quick time. And that's just going to allow you to sweat a little bit at the end, get your heart rate up a little bit more. So in the beginning of the workout, I would focus more on these compound exercises, still lifting for strength, trying to get a lot of mind to muscle connection, lifting a decent amount of weight. And then at the end, that's whenever you can speed things up a little bit. You're already more fatigued, but it's okay because you're trying to get your heart rate up. You're trying to sweat a little bit, feel good coming out of it. And then you've got an entire combination for an effective workout in a short period of time. And that's it, guys. Again, told you I was going to keep it tight. So I hope that helps you guys out next time you're traveling. Hopefully, God willing, that'll be sooner rather than later. And whenever you're at the beach, whenever you're at a hotel gym, or even whenever you're doing home workouts. But I hope that helps. And as always, thank you so much for listening and for watching. See ya.